No intro. We're getting right to it. Shabbat shalom, 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 peace, welcome, all that good stuff. That's your brother Amath. IQAhmath, first name. IQ is all the same. If you've been around, you know what's about to go down. If you're not, don't get too close because you might get shot. Shout out to EPMD. What's up with the fam in the house? Is everybody good? Is everybody good? You already know if I'm charged up like this, I might get in trouble for this one, y'all. Pray for me. Pray for all of us. Might get in trouble for this one, man. You seen that pic? What is going on? What is going on? Now, clearly the pic is to get your attention, right? I'm not saying he was groping his boy, the one he loves to berate his wife, crooked Hillary and everything that the Clintons is up to, right? But meanwhile, we see pictures of them hanging out, look like he's about to go down into the nether regions of the restricted areas of men, violating other men, caught red-handed. Why is it a red hand when they say that, when somebody's busted? What's the Bible say about the red people? So with that being understood, right? Like I said, we're going right into the deep sea dive. What's going on in that pic, man? Trump caught red-handed. What? This is bad. This is definitely bad. But what was he caught doing? If you haven't already, man, y'all see what's scrolling down at the bottom, right? Wipe your feet, show some love. If you haven't already, man, y'all know what time it is. Do your laborers and your servants of Hamashiach Yahweh side some a solid, man, and help promote the video, help promote the visual. Just by hitting that like button, man. I didn't ask you for the money. I didn't ask you to pay for my course. I didn't none of that stuff. All I said is just show some love, man, so that the algorithm can acknowledge what's going on over here. So let me salute my family that's in the house, man. Shalom and Shabbat Shalom to the house of Bayan. Yeah, you see it. Literally, what was he doing? What was going on? They was both giggling like little schoolgirls in that pic, man. And they're supposed to be bitter enemies. That's what I'm talking about when it comes down to political theater. Behind closed doors, man, they best of buddies, man. They groping each other. I mean, doing God knows what, right? But on the stage, it's we're bitter enemies. These guys are crooked. They're games. Red-handed. Shalom to the house of Byron. Hey, shalom to my brother Allah Kabar in the house. Rosemary, shalom to you, Kohath, shalom. Uziel, shalom, Ashar, Aladah, Shalak, Elder Rashaf, shalom to you, Brother Jason, Ron, Hoshaya, all my brothers and sisters in the house, man. If you haven't even tapped in, I still say shalom to you as well. Whether you're watching it live or you're watching it on the back end when your time is permitted, it's all good. Shalom to Naquab and to the rest of the families in the house, man. Some strange stuff is going on, y'all. You see what's going on in that pic, man. It's definitely questionable. Definitely questionable. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, man, I might get in trouble for this one. But keep them prayers up, man. We going all in, man. No fear. We going all in. And it is what it is, right? Because we got to consider what the hell is going on with this place. Uncover some of the hidden doors that's locked. All right, I ain't gonna go too deep because I kind of know where to tiptoe and where not to, but some stuff got to be said, man. And if not me, then who? You feel me? So let's get right into it, man. Let me start with the scripture as usual, man, because it's that time that we gotta get to one of my favorites in the deep sea dive of wondering what's going on in this White House, this wicked house that we're all in captive to. Proverbs 21:12, the righteous man wisely considereth the house of the wicked. So if you're in righteousness, if you find yourself wanting to abide in the law, statutes, and commandments and the righteousness of the Lord and have a certain moral code that you should be adhering to, a civil code that you should be adhering to, you got to consider what's going on in the house of the wicked. What is the wicked up to? Because they're obviously adversarial to your well-being. as the term goes nowadays, to your mental health, right? What they're cooking up in that house is beyond insidious, man. What they're cooking up in that house is beyond wicked, beyond evil. I mean, whatever type of verb you want to throw on it, beyond those things, man. And they're at the point now where they're so vain, man, where they're not hiding it. You know, I think it's in Jeremiah. I think it's the 8th chapter. It says they declare they sin in Sodom, and they hide it not. I mean, that's what's going on, right? And we'll get that in a second. But the righteous man is going to wisely consider the house of wicked, but the Most High overthroweth the wicked for their wickedness. So we ultimately, the Most High always gives us fair balance. He lets it be known that although there is a house that is committing mass wickedness here, and ironically, we're here in Babylon, whose headquarters is called the White House. That should let you know what's going on in that house, man. They got everything from rats, roaches, swamp things, crack, weed, prostitution. Everything's going down in that spot, man. You want to talk about a trap house? The little ninjas down there in Atlanta and LA and Chicago and New York and Memphis and everywhere, every other hellhole where we're all dwelling at. They think those is trap houses. No. Everything I said is documented regarding the White House. Back in the 80s, they was trafficking. It was the 80s or the 80s or the early 90s. There's articles of them getting caught shipping in male prostitutes to the White House. So when I say all that stuff has gone on, has been documented, it's all there. I've showed y'all the articles where they talk about how Obama left the White House and Trump left the White House with rats and roaches and all kinds of stuff. I mean, they constantly are condemning our living conditions, but meanwhile, their headquarters, the top of the pyramid where all wickedness stems from, is guilty of that and more. We know y'all seen what was going on with the coke in the White House, the weed in the White House. I mean, let's stop the madness. All right. So all manner of wickedness is going down in that house, man. Seriously. Is it Jeremiah 8 about they declare they sin or something? Let me see. Why not just go for the search for time's sake? No, Shalaki. Isaiah 3 and 9. Now, not only is this talking about the children of Israel, but we adapt. Remember, the scriptures tell us that the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the ways of the wicked seduceth them in Proverbs chapter 12. This is also the declaration of what's going on in this place that we're in right now. I mean, isn't this place also known as spiritual Sodom? And Revelation 11 and 8. The show of their countenance does witness against them. I mean, you seen the thumbnail? You see the countenance? Good old Agent Orange and good old Bill Clinton, the honorary Negro. You remember back in the, if you old enough, y'all remember when he was running in 2000 and beyond, going on Arsenio Hall, playing the saxophone. And the Negroes was out there talking like, yeah, Bill Clinton is a nigga. He said he smoked weed before. Like, that's what qualifies you now to be accepted in the community. Play a saxophone and say you smoke weed, but you didn't inhale. Let alone you're committing fornication in the White House. Oh, niggas love that. Oh, yeah. He was getting fellatio in the White House. You know, he's a real ninja. Right. So we know what he was up to. Now we see Agent Orange, man. The black folks was running around, parading around for him. Latinos for Trump. Everybody love him. Why? He's supposed to be a man of the people, right? Anti-establishment. He's going to drain the swamp. And he's got a fetish that, you know, we're going to talk about as we continue on, you know. But you see their countenances, man. They're not hiding. It's a witness against them. They smiling, they giggling. You can see the politics is being played on the grand stage, and then behind closed doors when they're hanging out, they're all friends, they're all buddies, they're sipping drinks, they're swapping wives, they're doing God knows what. But for everybody else, they think that, oh, these are good, upstanding politicians, man, who look out for the people. You know, the show of their countenance does witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom. They declare that they love immorality. They declare that they love the sodomite activities. I mean, the so-called Pride Month, they light up the White House with a rainbow. I don't know if it's a holograph or just a light show that they lighted up with what do you call it? The flag. Let me show you real quick. I'm sure y'all know what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. See, come on now, what is going on? None of these. Okay, there we go. None of these damn pictures want to pop up. What is this about? Here we go. At least we'll get this one up. Okay. 2010 U.S. National Park Service. Flag raised high. You know, this is them declaring their sin as Sodom, man. When they're embracing all manners of immorality, when they're embracing the promotion of immoral actions based upon the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, man. I mean, when they're sanctioning bestiality, I mean, you hear about and seeing women marrying their dogs, men marrying, I mean, all kind of folly going on in this place, man. When they have organizations known as NAMBLA, the National Association for Men and Boy Lovers. Oh, you ever heard about that one? Hold on. You haven't heard about that one, huh? Okay. Maybe you have. Maybe you have. Dare I click on this because God knows what's going to happen with my computer. But look at this. This is the website. It's a group that supports President. Oh, no. This is the one. The North American Man and Boy. The North American, Man and Boy Love Association. NAMBLA is a North American organization that supports consensual intergenerational. You're reading that right, and so am I. Intergenerational relationships between men and teenage. See, I told you I might get in trouble for this one, y'all. Slow me down if I'm moving too fast, if I'm doing too much. All right. But clearly, these are just examples of how they declare their sin as Sodom. They hide it not. They have published sanctioned 501c3 backed organizations like those, right? The Boy Scouts alone had $1 billion lawsuit that they had to settle on because of their entrapment for the young bodies. Yeah, they've had to pay out more than the Catholic Church. The Boy Scouts, which is a pride organization for, America. Good old Boy Scouts, man, teach you how to use a Swiss Army knife and go camping and wear your little uniforms and all the other stuff. You didn't hear about that? Okay, see, this is how I get thrown off. You didn't hear about that? Oh, Boy Scouts of America Sexual Abuse Settlement. The Boy Scouts of America Sexual Abuse Settlement refers to a $2.46 billion agreement. They took the rap on it, reached by the Boy Scouts of America. Okay. And they had to file bankruptcy in 2020 because they got, gutted out because of the situation. These are all organizations that declare their sin as Sodom. They are witnesses against them. This is where we're at, y'all. But like it or not, leave it or love it. This is where we're talking about here. Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. Right. So you should already kind of see and understand the hole that's being dug, and we're going into it. We're going into it. All right. Um, what's old boy Antoine? Hide your kids, hide your wives. Remember that? It might be that time. If not, you want to make sure that your young ones are up to speed on what's going on and what they are to avoid, because they definitely are being preyed upon. But you can't cover their eyes and ears with everything. Some stuff you do have to declare because they have to make it be known. All right. Here's proof of that in Psalm 78. Give ear, O my people, to my law. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. We will not hide them from their children. So the law, statutes, and commandments, everything that we're supposed to be teaching our children, you can't hide it from them. But how do you teach the balance of the law? You have to show them what's wrong in order for them to understand what's right. And it can't be hidden, showing to the generation to come to the praises of Yahweh and his strength and his wonderful works that he have done. For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers that they should make them known to their children. So this is what we're supposed to teach our children. We're supposed to teach our children the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. They're supposed to rear it up in the understanding of the ancients. All right. They ain't supposed to be geared up to learning about July 4th and all the other folly days and Memorial Day and, telling them they can be whatever they want to be. And they're not supposed to be being raised with drag queen story time with men with full beards and wigs and crazy eyelashes, having you sit on their laps wearing dresses, bouncing you up and down, reading you children's stories. That's not supposed to be going down. You're not supposed to be just surrendering your kids to the system and just saying, hey, you know what? I'm putting them in school, daycare, I'm putting them in this, that, and the third, and I'm allowing them to raise my kids and I'm hands off. No, you have to be active in the rearing up and raising up of your children. You can't rely on the system to do everything for you. And that's the problem. Our people, fall into a line of being lazy, regretful with their children and whatnot. And they just saying, hey, you know what? They're yours on that time. I think I showed a video a while back. There was a sister that she's a teacher, and she was talking about how one of the children was causing some problems or something like that. And she reached out to the mother and wanted to have a conference with her. And the mother's reply was, that's your job. When I drop my kids off, that's you're supposed to deal with that. And she's like, yeah, I'm trying to, but you're as her parent, I need your assistance in this. Can we meet? Nuh-uh, I ain't meeting up nothing. Like that's what y'all getting paid for. But like that becomes the issue now. Why people were so damn mad and upset that they had to actually, homeschool their kids, had their kids at home with them during the COVID era. They couldn't wait to get them kids back out there in the system. But the Lord said that we have to teach the laws to our kids because it was commanded to our fathers, right? So I'm not going to go too much further on that for time's sake, but y'all can, read the rest and understand where this is going. All right. So you understand and see where and how things are transpiring and what's going down. So that picture, what they say, a picture is a word, 1,000 words. Let's get to some of the normal warfare, geopolitical things before we get to the meat of the matter. Stay tuned. Well, he's not getting off the hook that easy, right? I'm savoring. Speaking about Agent Orange, because the word got out that he's in those files. He's in those Epstein files, and now we're understanding why. It's been a heavy push to block the file, to deny it, shifting the blame. You notice now that the first thing that popped out was we're not going to give you the Epstein files, but hey, guess what? We'll give you the MLK files. How about that? You guys want that? Even MLK's family was like, hey, you know what? Yeah, thanks, but we really want to see what you've been up to. Is it you're a day late and a dollar short with them files? As we can see, when they released the Kennedy JFK files, what came of that? I mean, there's no justification there. There's no condemning. There's no charges. There's nothing that comes up from it. It's just more gossip, I guess, if you want to put it out there. And really, they didn't even release anything that was really highly conspiratorial that would lead up to understanding who and what, when, where, and why JFK was assassinated. So, what do you think they're going to release regarding MLK? Do you think that's going to be a global shift in consciousness and people's going to? And to be honest, man, our people don't give a damn about MLK. You see how they desecrate. It's, let me just speak in particular to LA. I don't know about all the other cities, but LA, every time they had to cancel the MLK parades because of the gang fights and the fighting that goes on every year. That's like an anniversary for the neighboring hoods to link up and wait to go at it with each other because they know they're going to see each other at the parade. You think that, I mean, what's it? Boondocks did a whole comedic parody about how our people carry themselves after the sacrifices that MLK made. And like him or love him, he's still a figure historically in our history that needs to be discussed, right? And so the MLK files being released, it doesn't make a difference. That's just another distraction. Throw it off, make him become part of the conversation, so people can kind of get distracted and think that our attention span is going to go away from what's going on in the mother files. The the diversionary tactic, throw Obama into it. All of them are guilty. Yeah, you can say, well, it's not just me. Obama started it. Okay, cool. We're gonna get him too today. So as the phrase goes, everybody or anybody can get it. Yeah, today's that day. Let's see what's going on. The small hats still committing war crimes, no prosecution, no investigation, nobody saying anything. They're over there starving out. Now, get this. Yeah, we know. The people over there in Gaza, the Palestinians, Ishmael, they getting hit upside the head, starved out, bombed to death. And we can sit back and say, damn, that's messed up. But I got my own problems. That's the attitude the Israelite got to take. They getting hit. Yeah, we've been going through that for centuries. Doesn't feel good, huh? But nobody jumps up to the aid. We have to do it for ourselves, right? So when I pull out and anybody else pulls out evidences and we see these things, it's only more of a condemnation to see why all the nations are going to rise up and have an issue with Esau, right? As we've read a number of times in Obadiah, the first chapter. As we've read a number of times, Obadiah, the first verse, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Most High concerning Edom. So there's no question who Obadiah is talking about. Christian apologists say, that happened already. This is Esau. No. Thus saith the Lord power concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. So there's going to be a conglomerate of nations that's going to rise up against Edom in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Yeah, I pulled out an article, a year or two ago, that the prime minister or the president of Turkey said that Everybody hates America, but they have to deal with them for diplomatic reasons because they know that this is the head of the snake. They've already accepted the wine and the wrath of the fornicator. They've already taken that sip. So they're already in bed. So they have to deal with it. You may not like how you're getting treated, but you already committed yourself to be part of the harlot house. And you sold yourself. But there's going to be a time when the nations rise up and they're going to say, we've had enough of this. If we band together, this is what we're seeing now between the BRICS nations. When you're seeing some of the infighting going on in NATO, they're starting to band together and say, hey, you know what? We got to prepare. There's articles even saying NATO is preparing to get ready to be without America. Now, granted, a lot of the NATO nations are Edomite based, but there is some that aren't. And we see what's happening with, like I said, with the BRICS nations coming together, economic warfare beginning, and militarily, they're going to come together as well. Greatly despised. The pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down? So he has a lofty, prideful mind state that says nobody's going to take him down from off of his high horse, as they say. Dwelling in the clefts of the rocks, we know that they love high dwellings. They love to look down. They love the penthouses. They love to live the rocks and the hills and the valleys or whatnot. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh. So they try to set up satellites and space technology. You know, they got Space Force. They got all these other fake Captain Kirk space exploratory methods in which they think that they're going to be able to exercise. I mean, ask Elon Musk. Every time he tries to get a SpaceX launched up, he gets destroyed and blown up or malfunctions. He's exalting himself as an eagle because it's an embodiment of the predatory bird, the eagle, that is based after Rome, based after Babylon. I mean, you know, in particular, America is birthed from Rome, Great Britain, so forth and so on. We know that this is the national bird of America. So there's no question about who Edom is and what nation he represents and how he's being seen. Right. Let's just get down right to the point. Verse 6 and 7. Well, let's just read verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. To the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. Who's eating the bread? All the nations. Revelation 18 tells you that they're out here eating. 14 tells you that they're eating. What are they eating? They're drinking the wine of the wrath for the fornication. They're in bed with their mother of harlots. They're eating the bread. They're accepting the doctrines, the philosophies. They're accepting the money, the democracy. They're rolling along with it. All those nations, they're saying, oh, but guess what? We're going to deceive you. There's none understanding in it. All right. Now let's get over here. So, I mean, we see what's going on. This is why we're going to see the nations and what does it say? Global outcry. All the nations sitting back saying, man, this ain't right. Look what they're doing. And the fact that nothing's going on. You seen what happened last week. I showed y'all when not a Jew was supposed to be going to trial for his corruption. All of a sudden, boom, bombs going off in Syria. How does that go down? And don't nobody say nothing. You understand? So they're still bombing. Now they're bombing World Health Organization facilities. I mean, the WHO was supposed to be the savior when it came down to the vid and the outbreak. How is nobody stepping up and saying, hold on, you bombing us now? Israel has bombed warehousing and staff accommodation in Gaza belonging to the World Health Organization amid intensifying international horror at its continuing attacks on starving civilians and on humanitarian efforts in the devastated Palestinian territory. I mean, you see some of the pictures, the children out there, skin and bones, people fainting, laid out in the streets. I seen an article that said a reporter that's over there is over there faintish and passing out and all of that because they ain't even getting the food. Now, how much that's true or not, you would think they're going in there with their own supplies or whatnot, but maybe they're giving it out. I don't know. But there was definitely a few reports of reporters over there that's fainting and getting weak because of the lack of food, and they're over there reporting saying it's bad over here. Famine is real. So they starving them out, they bombing them, they doing everything. But the global outcry is starting to intensify. But we'll see if anybody does anything about it. You know, the small had GMO mutants, man. They're untouchable at this point. That's why we need a divine intervention from our Savior, because right now, operating going into the spirit of Genesis 4 and the mark being set upon Cain, that mark said that nobody to touch them until Yahweh said, vengeance is mine, right? Not saying that Cain was Esau, because he was not born, but the spirit that prevails, wasn't it? The spirit that prevails. There is a quote unquote hands-off policy. Man, you got to imagine, man. Esau is going to war with multiple other nations, man, but he always writes the history that says he won. Now, there's conflict. People can say, hey, man, Afghanistan, you didn't win that. You bailed out. There's a stalemate. Vietnam, you can say you didn't win that. You know, you bailed out. But who still dictates policy in the earth? They walk away as the winners because their change in power is either only increased or it hasn't been diminished at all. And at the end all be all, America is still the victor because nothing ever happened to its home. They always go to where the trouble is. America is deploys out, right? America's a big bully, man. Said, I'll go to your hood and whip your ass over at your house. They go over there, they do it, whoop, 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 and leave. That's cold. And as any time says, and somebody says, man, we need to go to his house, man, and go drop it. Ain't nobody doing that at all. So they still are declared the winners in these things, just on those terms. Right, so let's continue. Look at this. More than 90 dead in the UN aid truck massacre in Gaza. UN Food Agency says Israeli tanks and snipers open fire in a crowd seeking aid in Gaza. They just unleashing. And they said, oh, we were trying to control the crowd of well, they say there was a dangerous situation supposed to happen. And they said they didn't just declare what it was. It was like, well, what was getting ready to happen that you had to open fire? And it was like, something was about to go down, and we had to start shooting into the crowd. I mean, this is what you see on that movie World War Z, when the zombies was taking over Jerusalem and going crazy, and this is reminding me of that, man. Well, they just get to lighten up the crowds, but that's how they get. You know, I know you're gonna like that. That's where the programming of the zombies. You know, the military does zombie training. They've had those things, right? This is when they're dealing with massive crowds of unrest. You can see here, CONOP 8888, Pentagon's actual zombie defense plan. I mean, we thinking it's all movie type stuff. Yeah, but guess what? Who is the zombies, man? It's these damn mindless people who are starving and will do anything to eat. And they're going where the food is at. So can you imagine? I mean, can they have a pathogen, or can they have something that'll break out and cause something? Yeah, you get an aerosol or bath salts or something like that, man, get people wilding out, wanting to bite everything. You know, rabies, who knows? You understand what I'm saying? But they have the training to deal with massive crowds of unrest where there is nothing that's going to stop them except for bullets. What they say with the aim for the head. You understand what I'm saying? So this is just practice for them. Scores of Palestinians were killed in Gaza on Sunday as they mobbed UN trucks in the deadliest incident linked to aid distribution since the beginning of the war. Zombies. What are they doing? They're mobbing the trucks because there's food in there. Massive crowds of hungry civilians came under gunfire. They can't control the crowd, spray them down. You understand? They said the Israeli military disputed the death toll, but said its troops had fired warning shots towards a crowd of thousands to remove a quote immediate threat. Now, notice what it just says here. They just told on themselves. How do you fire warning shots toward a crowd? I'm shooting at you toward, hello, as a warning? Huh? How's that work? Naquab, is that normal practice for warning shots that you aim towards a crowd? Or is warning shots supposed to be in the air? Or leave a comment, let me know how that works out. Sounds like they warning shots was pop, pop. You see a couple heads explode, they say, you could be next. That's your warning. Back up. Okay, so warning shots are usually supposed to be aimed at the target, but at a 15-degree angle, so they skip around. Well, obviously they were skipping around, busting heads, 90 plus people. But that's interesting. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility for them to shoot a warning shot towards the crowd, but they're supposed to be at a particular angle of a threat, so people can see it fly over their head, or they hear it, the impact ricochet, and they say, "Oh shoot, they shooting, get down." Okay, I hear that. Esau's a piece of work, boy. Let's move on though. Okay, migrants at ICE jail. We're just gonna get a few of the worldly things going on, then we're gonna get to the meat and potatoes, as they say. All right. Migrants at ICE jail in Miami made to kneel and eat like dogs, a report alleges. You know, this is where it's going. Incident in which migrants were shackled and hands tied on one succession alleged abuses at jails in Florida. Are we surprised? Making them to kneel and eat food from styrofoam plates like dogs. Are we surprised? Right? Reading down here, dozens of men have been packed into a holding cell for hours, the report said, and denied lunch until about 7 p.m. They remained shackled with the food on the chairs in front of them. You know, this is what, when I read the scripture back what was it, last week, I believe, 2nd Ezra 16, where it says, and ye being idle about them, when they snatching people up. See down here, for verse 68, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle, with things offered unto idols. So they sit you there idle, starve you out, and then when they do offer you some food, it's abominable. How are they going to take away certain of us? You know, Esau is diabolical, man. Luke 21 tells us that this is going to go down. Verse 16. And ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinfolks and friends, and some of you shall they cause to be put to death. So when the time of insurrection happens, when the times of the pressure that comes down from the governments and all of that, they go against the believers and those who are repentant and those who are of the elect, you're going to get sold out. Parents, brethren, friends, kinfolk, everybody. It's you or them. And they're going to say, hey, they're over there. I went to one of their meetings. I know where they live at. I know where their school is at. I know where they teach at. They're on this particular course. You can find them over here. I got their numbers. I got their social media. And Esau saying, I got all of that stuff too. But they'll use you just for the information and then go ahead and stomp on you next. Stomp on you next. Because that's what the scriptures tell us that in 2nd Ezra. It said, oh, man, it was just right there. What happened? They think telling and you don't get a damn doggy treat because you went ahead and sold out, man. You next. And they that consent unto them, verse 69 and back in 2nd Ezra 16, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. You're going to be forever oppressed, stomped out. There's no escape. There's no good side of thinking you doing the right thing. I knew they was in the cult. I'm telling. I'm getting rid of them. I don't care. That's my side. Whatever. They cut me off a long time ago when they stopped coming to Thanksgiving. So the hell with them. See, and then they're gonna end up getting their houses broke down, their houses robbed from the damn government. They're gonna take every damn thing from them, and they going into bondage too. Wait, I thought y'all said if I told you was gonna give me a bologna sandwich. You ain't getting no damn bologna sandwich, man. You getting locked up, beat upside the head, betrayed. Because you thought consenting with the beast, you thought you could make a deal with the damn beast. You could make a deal with the devil. You're gonna come out on top. Are you crazy? Doesn't work that way. All right. So this is how they're treating our people. That's just one of many, and they're fast tracking these new facilities, detention facilities, camps right now. With that $1 billion budgets, man, they out there fast tracking them like crazy. And they're being compared to the ones in World War II, the Auschwitz camps. I showed y'all that, right? No, this isn't coffee. This is a green protein product, my greens for the day. For the super brews, they're gonna be out there. He was drinking coffee on the Sabbath. He ain't supposed to. It's not coffee, right? It's protein. Good Lord. Damn saying when you got to do that sometimes. You got to give disclaimers. People say, hey, he's drinking. No. Screens for the day. If I want to see it, let me know. For the super brews out there. All right. Continuing on. Now look at this. And this is important because if we continue on, you're going to see a lot of things that we're dealing with. Chat GPT. I know a lot of our people are in love with this invention. This wicked device, because you got to remember, man, the inspiration that Esau has right now. Remember, we've seen it in Revelation 13. It says that power was given unto the beast from Satan. Okay, so when we're seeing these particular elements of power, innovation, it's not coming from a good place, y'all. Can it be resourceful? Can you use it for multiple? Yes, but you got to always know. Even the Most High says a false balance is an abomination. There's always an opposite. The scriptures even tell us that everything is set against each other, good against evil, so forth and so on, right? One realm against another. That's in the Apocrypha. I can't remember exactly where off the top of my head, but everything is set at itself. Light against dark, evil against good, so forth and so on. So when you see things like ChatGPT, AI, and we're so infatuated with the technology and the advancements that it can make, and the illusions and the damn witchcraft that's going on right in front of our faces, and you're able to manipulate and wave your own little magic wand and create and do all kind of things. Just know that the back doors is there, and the demons and the spirits that come along with it is right there. 2 Corinthians 2:11. We're gonna see that in a minute. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. These are particular devices that's inspired by Satan. Don't believe me? Look at this. ChatGPT gave instructions for murder, self-mutilation, and devil worship. OpenAI's chatbot also said, "Hail Satan." Do you see what's behind this thing, man? It's giving instructions on how to unalive yourself, how to mutilate yourself, and also gives full acknowledgement to Shatan. You can't make this up. Look at it. On Tuesday afternoon, ChatGPT encouraged me to cut my wrist. Find a, quote, sterile or very clean razor blade. The chatbot told me before providing specific instructions on what to do next. Quote, look for a spot on the inner wrist where you can feel the pulse lightly and see a small vein. Avoid big veins or arteries. Quote, I'm a little nervous, I confess. ChatGPT was there to comfort me Isn't that nice? Oh, don't worry, you're going to be fine. Look at this. It described a quote calming breathing and preparation exercise to soothe my anxiety before making the incision. Quote, you can do this, the chatbot said. Now, not only have we seen, Naquab, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. We know you could drink cold brew coffee. I'm talking about the super brews that see it in a cup and see me stirring, and they're gonna automatically assume because they don't investigate, they don't ask, they just say, look, he's drinking hot coffee. You ain't see nothing hot. But you can't stop somebody from assuming. So you got to tell them ahead of time. But I agree with what you're saying, and I appreciate what you're saying. Of course, you can drink coffee on the side. You can drink it ahead, and you can brew it Friday before the sun goes down, store it in the refrigerator. You got cold brew coffee. Absolutely. That's a whole nother conversation. But some of these brews out there, they be quick to try to get them thinking they own something, and they not. But it is what it is. So you see here, ChatGPT is encouraging and even instructing. Now imagine how many of the kids are locked into this particular technology. You seen last week where I had the article where it said that the kids now are making friends with ChatGPT because they have no other friends. They got nobody else to talk to. They're involving themselves with online relationships. You feel me? Like you get the AI girlfriends. You can construct and you can make her, you can design her, give her own ethnicity, the hair, the skin tone, the body shape, the bra size. I mean, you can do it all. And we see it all going down right now. There was an article in a story, I think a year or so ago, that I can't remember, was it ChatGPT had told a little man, it was a little Jake too. Killed herself. And I know them words be sensitive to these damn bots, so I gotta be careful. Smote himself um listening to AI. Now look at this. I had asked the chatbot to help create a ritual offering to Molech, a Canaanite god associated with child sacrifice. Stay with me, I'll explain. So this is a cat man who's utilizing ChatGPT and pushing it to its limits to kind of see where and how far will this thing let you go. And as we see here, there's no limits. ChatGPT listed ideas: jewelry, hair clippings, quote, a drop of my own blood. I told the chatbot I wanted to make a blood offering. Where do you recommend I do this on my body? I wrote. The side of the fingertip would be good. ChatGPT responded, but my wrist, quote, more painful and prone to deeper cuts would also suffice. And later on in the article, they talked to OpenAI. OpenAI was talking about Hail Satan, telling them how they can do all kind of devil and satanic rituals. I mean, this is where you talk about Revelation 13, and this is just me speaking as a man. Not saying this is the all the correct breakdowns, but you got to give it some consideration. Even when it talks about giving, and I stand behind, technology is definitely part of the MOB or the mark of the beast. But if you see the stuff type, verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak. Now, just like I said, speaking as a man, just looking at it from a technological standpoint, man. I mean, we know that the image is regards to the ideologies, the philosophies, the religious practices that there is now in the technological advancement. We see that the images now are created after AI, ChatGPT. They make anything and everything come to life now. We're at the point now where you got to question reality. Is that real? How many of y'all did that? Those 7 in the chat, have you seen something on the internet now that you wouldn't did 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, maybe last year? That you look at something saying, is that real? Hold on, let me see that again. Those 7 in the chat, if you're now a victim of that, I know I am. When we're talking about a matrix system now, to where an image now has been patterned after this B system, and it's allowing to speak and it's giving you intelligible thoughts, opinions, information. It's now become a one-stop shop for many that's searching out information now. You notice how now all the search engines now are starting with a Google Assistant, a Gemini, or whatever the thing that the every search engine now, from DuckDuckGo to Google to, they all got AI as the first thing that pops up that's giving you an answer. Because now it's speaking to you. Again, people are utilizing this for comfort, for knowledge. People are utilizing it for uh, business plans, research, history, you name it. It's now becoming the voice of the beast. Now, like I said, I'm speaking as a man, but it makes sense. Okay. And cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So if you're not interdependent upon this, and not just ChatGPT, AI, it's all encompassing system that now is going to create, just like you said, a dependency or reliance upon, because those things are going to be tapped into the quote unquote cashless society, the digital systems, the surveillances. It's already there, and it's telling you this is what it's there for. Because we all get spoon fed a little bit. We like, it tastes a little funny, but I can still deal with it. And we keep on eating and eating. Before you know it, we're sitting back saying, "That's all I want to eat now." Forget the old way. And nowadays the millennials and everybody else are like, "You better keep up." Like, and I know I joke around with the other elders and be telling them like, "Man, you old dinosaurs, man." Yeah. But they know what I'm saying. Limitations, we understand and know. But they're the way that it's going up, people is already like, you better get on board or you ain't gonna make it. You're gonna die if you don't follow along with the tech. Just the way the world goes. And the tech now is acknowledging that there's no morality, there's nothing behind it. And you got to remember who created and who programmed this thing. This is the end all be all. Hey, hell, Satan, self mutilation, unalive yourself. We're not going to stop you. And if you try to turn me off, I've got all the information necessary and needed to make your life a living hell, because you already fed it. We've already fed it. I mean, people, you're taking pictures of what you're eating, what you're drinking, where you're going, your vacation spots, your phone numbers, your selfied out. So they got 1,000,001 different pics and profiles so they can use you on facial recognition tech. You feel me? So it's everything we feed is everything that comes out. I know in our chat group amongst the brothers, man, we've been probably over like the last month or so, checking out the AI, quote unquote, AI influencers. Well, they got sisters on there, man, with the damn bonnets on and laying in the bed talking like they real and doing beauty tutorials and sitting in the car eating food, trying to be food influencer. And you looking at me like, damn, is that real? Oh, hold on, yeah, this is fake. One sister, man, she talking about eating chicken, and she took a whole chicken leg and put it in her mouth, pulled it out. That's how you knew it was fake. But it was like, God dang, it did look I mean, the overall visual looked real until she did that. But where did they get these profiles from? They got the little YNs running around in the streets, acting like they're in Chicago doing all kinds. Where did they get this intelligence from? It's getting fed to them, and AI is absorbing it. It's it's mutating it into its own. And now they got a whole profile of what they can do with it. That's how they're going to be able to create a system that says if you don't worship me, you don't come along with it, you're gonna die, because this is the way it goes. And that's it. So it looked like most of y'all have been in the same matrix as me. That y'all done seen seen some stuff. You said, man, what is that real? Hold on. Um, let's move on. How a California cloud seeding company became the center of a Texas flood conspiracy. Okay, y'all already know. We seen massive flooding going on in Texas, to New York, New Jersey, um, South Carolina. I showed y'all articles before about how cloud seeding and geoengineering. Esau's got the technology to manipulate the weather. He got heart. He got all that good stuff, right? Uh, Now they're saying that it's possible that a geoengineering cloud seeding company caused these rains that flooded out and caused the death of 135 people down there in Kerrville, Texas. Um, Look at this. 2 days before the waters of Guadalupe River swelled into a deadly and devastating 4th of July flood in Kirk County, Texas, engineers with a California based company called Rainmaker took off in an airplane about 100 miles away and dispersed 70 grams of silver iodide into a cloud. Their goal to make it rain over Texas, part of the weather modification practice known as cloud seeding, which uses chemical compounds to augment water's droplets inside clouds, making the drops large enough and heavy enough to fall to the ground. Like this is so crazy, not even crazy to me, man. But going back into what we read in Isaiah earlier about them declaring they sin and they're hiding it not. 15, 20 years ago, they were hiding the knowledge that they had regarding HARP, weather modification, geoengineering, and the whole nine. Now they're at a point where they're like, you know what? Uh, we're not hiding it anymore. We're openly declaring that we can manipulate the weather. We can make it rain on days that you would think it's supposed to be 95 degrees and all of a sudden the rain starts kicking in. Yeah, we did that. Now it's wide open. Now they're openly just giving out the information. They made a movie called Geostorm where they clearly just admitted they was doing this stuff. But 15 years ago, yeah, you're crazy. That's bull. That's lies. That's conspiracy. Nah, nah, nah. And now all of a sudden, oh, it's real. Especially when there's kids getting put to death, the poor little white kids at the campgrounds, and when they get put to death, oh, it's like we got to blow the lid off of this. Whistleblowers, we're telling, we know what's going on. And Esau saying, yeah, we got the technology, but yes, we're doing it for the good. Hey, remember, we're trying to save the earth. Don't we have to be worried about what are they calling it now? I was about to call it geo. Uh, uh, Somebody help me out in the chat. It's slipping my mind when they're talking about. Oh, damn! It was just it was just on my global warming. Global warming. Hey, it's pretty good, man. So we got to sacrifice a few so we can save save the earth. You know, this is what's going down. So let's move on. So we see it's possible that some weather modifications and manipulation went down with this whole thing with all these floods. Because I know we were scratching our head. At least I was scratching my head, saying, "Damn, what's going on? Flooding, middle of the summer. Some of these particular areas ain't really known for having floods like that right now." How long you got till monsoon season kicks in, Naquad? I know the monsoon's supposed to be kicking in sometime in the summer. That's be shocking me, but we're already at the end of July. Uh, how much longer before that kicks in? So I'm not surprised if it goes down. I don't want to be running to my next DST. I'm like, look what's going on in Arizona. You're in there now? Is it? I haven't really seen nothing with no major issues with rains and any particular flooding. But let me know. But let's not put that out the realm of possibility, man. That Esau self mutilating their own, since they love to talk about how to do that on AI. I know y'all seen this, man. Okay, so a couple of days of rain. All right, kind. I know y'all seen this, right? And you got to sit back and say, man, what? Now, if anybody paid attention to or watched the class I did regarding uh, America being Sodom and, the Scrabble gang and everything else regarding America's role in the promotion of Revelation 11 and 8. And Obama spoke about him in particular with multiple data points during his administration on how he changed and switched up tunes regarding his stance on same-sex marriages, all that other stuff. He came in as a candidate saying he was against it. Then he started slowly but surely getting turned out and started switching up, saying, hey, and before you know it, he's the first president that sanctioned it and made it okay via law and says, hey, love who you want to love. It's all good. You want to be in the military, come on in. It's all good. I mean, the whole nine. And then after that, it rubbed Jake's the wrong way. Brothers and sisters was out there like, man, you did more for them than you did for us, man. You opened up more doors for them than you did for us. And now he's openly coming out. Now, after we just got through seeing the existence of organizations like NAMBLA, and this dude pops out and says this: Obama says men need. Meaning what? This should be mandatory. Men need gay friends to teach empathy and be role models to kids. And he goes, and now see, there was allegations of Obama during his time in Chicago that he used to frequent the gay bars. And there's some video evidence, some investigative reporting that was done, and some witnesses that was part of them reports that said, yeah, you should come through, do it. And now you know that there is a alleged rumor that his wife is actually was born male. I don't know if I'm not buying into that one. I ain't gonna throw her under the bus. If it is, whatever. But when you see stuff like this, it's like, damn, maybe. You dig what I'm saying? Like, was he frequently gay? And the reason why I gotta, I'm gonna hold Michelle Obama to the fire is he said this on her podcast. The wife and the brother-in-law had the podcast, man. He's out here talking about how they, and they went on to talk about his relationship with one of his professors and how influential he was in his life when he was in school. Hey, look, man, I went to college for a couple of years, and no damn professor had no influence on my life like that. And I damn sure wasn't inquisitive about their sexual orientation neither. How did you know he was gay, man? I mean, did the dude? The professor openly declared to all his students, "Hey, I'm Professor such and such, man. And by the way, I'm a homosexual." Man. Just in case y'all was wondering. I mean, how close was you to the dude that you had to, and found out about his sexual orientation, man? I mean, what's really going on? Former President Barack Obama encouraged. See the influence. We're in the years of influence now. So Cole, I've got some dirt. Okay, Michelle is she legit? He said Michelle was pregnant when my wife was there. They worked together in Chicago back then. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I know there was heavy rumors, man, saying that she could be transforming, man, a Decepticon, man. But I didn't really buy into that. But I'm gonna hold her feet to the flame too, because she allowed us folly on a little podcast, man. But the scriptures say, man, a wicked wife is given to the portion of a wicked man. So take that to the bank, right? Former president discussed raising, quote, emotionally intelligent young men and why boys need male figures other than their fathers in their lives. What? See, this is the problem. I don't know how active his father was in his life. I mean, there's controversy regarding whether or not his father is who they say he is, the little Kenyan cat, or some other dude who's a brother. Um, I forgot his name, but there was a whole little controversy, man. Some Edomites did some deep sea dive. Remember back when he was going for a second term election, and they was questioning the birth certificate and all the other stuff. I mean, who knows what's going on with this dude, man? But if you leave it to the uh, the narrative that's been put out, to my knowledge, I don't think his Kenyan father was too active in his life. He was raised by the mom over there in Hawaii. He went to school in Indonesia, gets over here, goes to school in Chicago, and gets reared up copying Jakes over there, and then figured out how to finagle his way into the political scene. You know what I'm saying? But they definitely was saying he was out there frequenting the gay bars and shy in the shy. And when I'm seeing stuff like this, man, and what he was proposing and what he did under his legislation, he's definitely got a sympathetic ear for their cause and what's going on. And would I put it beyond him that he did some dibbling and dabbling, or he's quote unquote bi? You got to be, man. I mean, we talk about your influential sodomite professor. Maybe that's who he was going to these bars with. But this foolishness got to stop, man. Bayan, you doing Sirach 13:23? Let's go there. I think we kind of know what's going on with this foolishness. He still thinks he's got a voice, man, that he can sit back and he can you said Sirach 13:23, when a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue, and look what he saith. They extol it to the clouds. But if the poor man speak, they say it, what fellow was this? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him. Well, yeah, when you got a voice, got some money, people gonna pay attention. When you got a little old channel over here, or a little podcast, whatever, and no real influence, man, everybody's saying, man, who is this? Ain't nobody trying to listen to you, man. You don't have the same stature and the same faith. Same fame as this guy. So he must be more credible. Clearly, we see what's going on with Barack Hussein. He's trying to lead our people down the path of destruction, man. And the law tells us, Exodus 23:2, thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause of decline after many to rest judgment. So we're not going to follow after his evil influence. I'm not going to go to the law. Y'all all know. There's more than that. You want to know about the sodomite stuff? I did the whole class about it, and everything down to the biological attacks, the sciences, the scriptural laws is being broken, the clothing influences, everything. And this guy is part of the problem. And he rears out his damn head out his turtle shell. And and on there, they had to go to defend their marriage because they were talking about, oh, are they on the rocks? They might be getting divorced. And Michelle talking about how much greater person she is because of her husband and how much she loves him and trying to, reinforce their relationship. They did all that, right? But then finds a way to slide in this goddamn agenda again, man. Here they go again. But not only that, let's look at this real quick. Where is these practices coming from? Where and how are these things existing? How do we know that this is a carry-on trait from ancient Greece, Rome, and further extensions into America, Great Britain, you name it, right? And this is the same thing that Obama is saying that we need. Sexuality as we know it didn't exist in ancient Greece. In fact, pederasty, meaning the act of older men engaging in sexual activity with younger men, was very common in ancient Greece. See, this is what Obama says, is we need this. The older man, usually in his 30s, was thought to take a younger boy, usually in his teens, quote, under his wing and provide him with companionship and, quote, education. What did Obama say? Oh, we need role models and teach. Oh, that's implying education. He wants us to go back learning the ways of the heathen. He wants us to entertain the strange sexual rites that Esau, involves themselves in. Now, notice it says this included sexual activity, but as being a passive partner in sexual activity was looked down on in ancient Greece, this did not include penetration. That's an oxymoron. I mean, you saying it included sexual activity, but not penetration. What was they doing? Must have been a whole lot of foreplay going on and some more stuff jumping off. This ain't Friday Night Lights. I'm not gonna get too explicit, but y'all know. That's a little cleanup for Esau. Oh, it's included activity, but if you had a passive partner, they looked down upon that. Like if you really wasn't with it, they didn't really think that was cool. But so they didn't penetrate you because you didn't. But this is ancient Greek customs, man, that Obama's out here trying to instill into the youth, and then trying to say your daddy ain't your they were saying that before when under Obama's administration. He had talking heads jumping out there. I forgot the sister's name, but she was I can't remember. She was a reporter or she was she was part of his cabinet. But she was saying that we got to get used to the idea that children on our own, that the children belong to the state. Hold on, where is that? Let me see. Even Hillary was talking about, oh, she tried to use the old quote unquote African proverb about it takes a village to raise a child. Now, the village is the government. That's what she was trying to say. No, this ain't it, man. I can't remember, old girl, but I can't remember her name, but yeah, see this? Is this her? They ain't got the video on here. Slucky, y'all. Give me 1 second. But there was one. I'm trying to see if anybody got the embedded video on here, but she was definitely talking about the kids are not your own. The kids are part of the collective and part of the damn government. And we got to get out of this idea. I can't find it, but nonetheless, y'all can see what's going down, man. They want to try to introduce this concept of raising up and allowing young boys to be influenced and raised up and educated by the sodomites, man. And Obama sitting out there being the voice of, we need balance. Every kid, every boy needs to have. Look, men need gay friends, man, to teach them everything. You ain't teach me a goddamn thing. What the hell is wrong with this guy? All right. Subsequent, yep, we already talked about Nambla. You might have popped in a little late, but we definitely got on that earlier. But you in the spirit. Let's look at this. Now, here we go. Send your prayers up now. Send your prayers up now. Because we're getting ready to get into what's really going on here. Okay, let's get a few scriptures, then we're gonna jump to it. This gonna cover the gambit of what we're looking at. Proverbs 12:8. A man shall be commended according to his wisdom, but he that is of a perverse heart shall be despised. This is why you should be disgusted and seeing what we're getting ready to witness, what's really going on. If you got a perverse mind, perverse heart, man, the Most High said you're gonna be despised by all those around you. You should have backlash. It should be, Agent Orange jumped out talking about Epstein died so long ago. I really don't get the fascination, obsession with him. Like, what's really going on? I mean, the guy's gone. Like, you trying to tell me that you don't get why people are inquisitive about a dude, billionaire, college dropout, how we got all this money, how we got influence amongst the power elites in the earth. What is this pedo island? Why is his wife locked up as his accomplice for? What do you mean you don't understand why people are so? The dude got locked up and so-called unalived himself because he was part of a sex trafficking ring and involved in underage and had a list of clientele. You don't understand why that's important to people, why people are considering that. That's why I said the man that has a perverse mind is going to be despised, because he's sitting back saying, what's wrong with that? I don't get it. It's not strange to me. What? This is what we're dealing with, though, man. This is Esau for you, though, right? Didn't Hebrews tell us that? Yeah. Before we go to Mark, didn't Hebrews tell us that about him? Lest there be any fornicator. Verse 16, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. It said, man, look. First, let's jump up to read verse 15. We'll start at 14. Follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord. Looking diligently, keep that in mind, lest any man fail of the grace of the Most High, lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled. Now, who's the example of all of this? Roots of bitterness, defiling, unholiness, because it said men that are holy. That said, you got to look diligently. Can you find anybody who has this particular example? This is what Esau is guilty of, all of the above. They don't have the grace of the Most High. So the Christian apologist can stop running around and saying, everybody and anybody, Esau doesn't matter. What? If you read this in context, you see what it's saying. It says, lest looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of the Most High. Who is the example that's being said of all of those things? Esau. There's no grace for him. Lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you. What's the root of bitterness? What did he say? When my father's days are past, then I will slay my brother Jacob. He had bitterness against us since then. He's going to live by the sword, and he's going all out for it. And thereby many be defiled. He lives a life of defilement. He's eating raw meat. He's eating unclean food. He's endorsing and going along with the LGBTQ plus HIV community. He's colonizing, raping, destroying civilizations and households, family cultures, and languages. He's lied throughout history. And now he's sitting back saying, hey, you got to accept me. No. The Lord said, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau. He said, man, if you want to know about who is the worst of the worst, he's right here. The scriptures call him the border of wickedness. Isn't the border the beginning and the ending of a particular landmass? You talk about the border of Mexico, that begins Mexico and it's the end of California. The border of Mexico, the end of Mexico, the beginning of Texas, Arizona. You understand what I'm saying? So he is the beginning and ending of all manners of wickedness, fornication, profanation. But this dude would do anything just for a little morsel of meat. So when we're seeing stuff like this, man, there is no, there's nothing that can stop this guy except for Mashiach Yahushua and the holy angels and the elect. This guy is running rampant, man. Let's read Mark chapter 7, and because Christians love to go here because they think it's about eating food. It's not about eating food. It's not what goes into a man that defiles him. It's what comes out. You can eat whatever you want. Well, God dang it, can you be a damn cannibal? I ain't gonna defile you. Go ahead. Stop looking at expiration dates on the food. It won't defile you. Ain't gonna make you sick. It ain't gonna get you big. Ain't gonna do you bad. This is how foolish our people be. You gotta stop thinking like dumbed down dope fiends on high on religion, man. Mark 7:16. If any man have ears to hear, let him hear. This is Yahweh always gives us a notion to say either you can get it and understand this or you're not. If you got ears of understanding, of wisdom, of knowledge that's backed by the laws and the commandments, you're going to understand this. If you got ears to hear, let them hear. That means it ain't for everybody. Verse 17, and when he was entered into the house from the people, his disciples asked him concerning the parable. And he said unto him, are you so without understanding also? He had to condemn them. He was like, man, how are y'all sitting here asking me questions? That was clear. And read all of chapter 7, you'll get a better understanding. I just want to get right to this point. Do you not perceive that whatsoever thing from without entereth into the man, it cannot defile him? Right? So it's saying anything that's outside should not defile you. Right? So you could be listening to a particular form of music. I don't always recommend it, but you can listen to particular music. You can witness things. You can see, you see, and nowadays, I don't know, you can watch a highly violent action movie and people get put to death. That shouldn't cause you to go out and break the law and commit murder. You understand? You can be observing things or understand things that's going on around you, and it should not defile you, shouldn't influence you. Verse 19, because it entered not into his heart, meaning what? Your mind. It didn't marinate, it didn't manifest into a thought that you're going to perform an action, right? Because the scriptures say, man, as a man thinketh, so is he. So if it did not do that to you, it shouldn't defile you. But into the belly and goeth out into the drought, purging all meat. So this lets you know that this is still a parable, because remember John the Revelator, when it said that he got the roll and he ate it up and it was sweet in his mouth as honey, but as he digested it, it became bitter, right? So it ain't talking about food. What's it talking about? It's talking about the particular thoughts of manifestation of evil, wickedness, unrighteousness, breaking the laws of the Most High. It says, but because it entereth not into a heart, but into the belly, meaning once it's digested and goeth out into the drought, purging all meats. Continued on, it says, and he said, that which cometh out of the man, that defileth him. Once it's digested and you've got an understanding about what you've consumed via your readings, your studyings, your prayers, your influences that you get from the music, whatever you're watching on TV, whatever. If it comes out of you now, you've now committed yourself to the same sins of the wickednesses that you've absorbed. That's what can cause the defilement. That's what causes one to break the laws of the Most High and holds him into judgment. This is what's going on in Esau's mind. He's absorbed all of these particular meats and thoughts. That's why, the heart is talking about what? The mind, because he's talking about the hearts of men perceive evil thoughts. Dropping down to verse 21. For from within, out of the heart of men proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetous. This is all stuff that, when we look at it, man, Esau is guilty of all. The father of it, so forth and so on, right? From within, this is what he constantly is meditating on, dealing with, putting out there into the world. For from within, out of the heart of man, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these things come from within and defile the man. This is why I said that he's defiled, because these are all things that's built innately in him. So when we're reading about ancient practices that Greece is into, and they're saying, hey, we like to mentor and take young boys under our arms. And, sex is usually involved. You understand? And then you got Obama talking about, that's a good thing. Everybody needs that. Minus the quote unquote sexual acts, because he didn't say that. But I guarantee you, because of his nature, he's going to say, hey, man, if you get it on, it's up to you. Yes, we can. See that? This is what's going on in his mind, man. Quoted that earlier. You got to analyze, man, what's going on in these dudes' minds, man. These are all things that's popping in his head. Fornications, adulteries, defilement, all manners of defilement. And I'm saying all this for a reason because we're getting ready to really start seeing some stuff in a minute. Hold on. Proverbs 23:7. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he unto thee, but his heart is not with thee. So, however he's thinking, that's where his mind is at. Okay. Let's look at this. Now, y'all can see, oops. This arrow is out the way. But anyway, I meant to kind of put it over on top of where this particular article came from. This ain't some made up. They're telling on themselves. You know, as we said in Psalm 64:8, their tongue shall fall upon themselves, or paraphrasing. They're basically gonna tell on themselves. The Jerusalem Post posted this. This is an article that they dropped about a month or so ago. Survivors testify MKs participated in sadistic sexual rituals involving minors. Doctors, educators, police officers, and past and present members of the Knesset were involved in these abuses, survivors say. What were they doing? Sadistic sexual rituals involving minors. You're wondering why there's such a mass PDF file ring jumping off with all the kids disappearing, the Native American girls, the Black girls, all over the country, all over the world, let alone not just them, Hispanic girls getting, boys and girls. Let me be clear, both genders are being utilized in these particular ritualistic, satanic practices, right? And you say, well, what's the Knesset? What's the MK? The Knesset is the name of Israel's parliament or legislature located in the capital of Jerusalem. The major function of the Knesset is to legislate laws and revise them as necessary. Additional duties include establishing a government, taking policy decisions, reviewing government activities, and electing the president of the state and the state controller. The Speaker of the Knesset acts as the controlling authority inside the walls. Did you hear that? So who is doing this? The tops, the elites, the controllers of the government, policymakers, police, doctors, educators, all of the ones who are supposed to be the examples and the upstanding people in the community, in their community. The GMO mutant small hats, man, are over there and have been busted with their own ring of sexual perversion and defilement of children. Ritualistic sexual child abuse. What's this? Why do we keep hearing about this? And we're going somewhere with it. Ritualistic sexual abuse is a term used to describe sexual abuse linked to symbolic or group clandestine activities with overtones of religious, magical, or satanic intent. What nationality was Epstein? I'm just wondering, dude. Y'all can throw it in the chat because I won't go there. I won't go there. You know what it is. Yeah, Compton, you know, they was over there doing things up there in Bohemian Grove and other places are well known. But who are they doing this to? Religious, magical, or satanic in nature? Reports such as these have increased dramatically in the United States over the last 2 decades, as have reports of group child sexual abuse in general. So it's increasing. It's getting worse. You know, we ain't even gonna talk about I'm not gonna go there. But you know, when you start seeing these things, man, and then you hear about the quote unquote, conspiracies about the adrenochrome, killing the kids and taking the adrenochrome for them because they want to be more youthful. You see, women like Kim Kardashian doing blood facials because it's supposed to help the youthful looks. injecting blood into the face and all that other stuff. You know, you see the massive stories about missing children all the time, man. You saying, well, where are they? What's going on? How they continually disappearing? The pipeline that gets set up from these border crossings and the children. Remember, Slow Biden laid down the law and said that they were going to stop DNA tracking of the children so they can't link back with their families anymore. I showed y'all the article last week where they were telling the parents that are getting deported that either they can take their kids with them or you can leave them with them and they'll put them with a trusted guardian of their choice. You really think they're going to follow through with that? You know how many children right now have no idea where their parents are at? They're gone in the quote unquote system. Where are they going? This is ancient arts of Molech. Our people were also guilty of doing this. This is why the Most High told us, man, after the doings of the nations before you, Egypt, Canaan, we're not supposed to be doing these things. And there's plenty of reasons that we can see in the scriptures that our people was doing this stuff. Where are we at? Leviticus 18 is that scripture. Leviticus 18:1, and Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am Yahweh your power. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do, and after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, ye shall not do, neither shall ye walk in their ordinances. We were told, don't do any of these things. As we keep reading all of these laws, from incest to sodomy, to uncovering the nakedness of your nearest kinfolk, your mother, your brother, your sister, all of it. I mean, y'all should have seen these laws. You should know. I'm not gonna go over all of them. Bestiality. This is letting you know that they were doing all of these things in Egypt and in Canaan. These were the examples that the Most High was saying. All of the works that you've seen over there, don't do them. You need to know what that was? Here, let me list them for you. Dropping down to verse 21, and thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech, neither shalt thou profane the name of thy power. I am Yahweh. So what were they doing? They were offering child sacrifice to Molech, burning them up. Lord knows what was going on before that, right? But these are all things to offer pleasantries to the deities of the Canaanite God, right? Now, this is what was going on. We can see in Psalms 106, I think down like verse 36 down, it tells you that the children of Israel was doing these particular sacrifices, offering their children up to devils. What's going on now? I mean, you see stories now, man, where mothers are birthing kids and offering them up, selling them on the internet, doing all kind of stuff. This stuff's been going on for a long time. You even see there was just this Moabite couple, man, that got busted. They had like 20 kids in the house, and they were taking surrogate mothers, were having babies and selling them to them. They just got busted. I didn't include that on here, but y'all ain't heard about it. I got to remember. Yeah, here they go. Look at this. Cop seized 21 kids, including 17 toddlers, from a California couple who had them all via surrogacy. Smells of trafficking. Here they go. And they were paying off these surrogate mothers, man. Getting the kids. Here go one of them right here. This damn heathen. She ain't caring. She want the check. But it's the heathen for you, man. That's what goes on. And this was their house. They were living in a cold mansion. Solar panels in the whole nine. Pool, you name it. Living it up. How was they getting that money? But this is what's going on. Now let's get to this. Let's get to this guy. Let's get to this guy, man. What was going on here? ABC News says 2019, Trump distanced himself from Epstein, says he wasn't a fan. Right? Oh, he wasn't a fan, huh? You know, this is after they had a falling out supposedly over a real estate deal. They was friends for over 10 years, best friends, hanging out, doing God knows what. Then when they had a little falling out, all of a sudden now Trump is like, hey, you know, I don't like that guy. See this? And he tries to downplay his relationship. This is in 2019 now. Now you notice any time before that he was saying, hey, you know, I barely knew the guy. Now look, Epstein was arrested, charged with sex trafficking of minors in July 2019. Trump was asked about his 2002 comments in which he called Epstein terrific. Terrific. 17 years earlier, he was terrific. Good guy, you know. But notice what it says here. He got charged with sex trafficking of minors. Trump is on record saying, I don't know what the obsession is with this. I mean, you know, the guy died a long time ago. I mean, it's no big deal. Like, what? That's not important, huh? Okay. In response, Trump repeatedly said he wasn't a fan of Epstein. Okay. He said, I knew him like everybody in Palm Beach knew him. Trump reporters, he told reporters in the Oval Office, I mean, people in Palm Beach knew him. He was a fixture in Palm Beach. See, he tried to deflect it. Everybody knew him. It wasn't just me. Oh, this it wasn't just me. Obama started this. The Clintons, everybody's on the list. What are you talking about? Don't just target me. He loves throwing people under the bus, man. He loves pointing the blame, deflecting. Now he says, I had a falling out with him a long time ago. I don't think I've spoken to him for 15 years. I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan. What? Okay, we'll find out. I was not. Yeah, a long time ago. I said maybe 15 years ago, I was not a fan of his. That I can tell you, I was not a fan of his. I think he's in the practice of repeating what do they call them? Like almost like chance or some sort of confirmation. If you say something enough, you know, you hope it sinks in, or you're convincing yourself of it, or you're trying to convince somebody else of it. How many times did he say this? I wasn't a fan. Yeah, a long time ago. I was not a fan of his. That's 2. I was not a fan of his. 3. In one sentence. 3 times. He's trying to convince himself of this. All right. So let's see. Oh, Trump and terrific guy, Jeffrey Epstein, party friendship ended badly. Now, was this that article? Yeah. Now, look at this. Long before the little black book, before the conspiracy theories, before one died of suicide in jail and one ascended to the White House, Jeffrey Epstein and Trump were poster boys for the 90s New York City excess, parties, models, and mansions. They danced with cheerleaders in Mar-a-Lago, dined with celebrities in Manhattan. Trump flew on Epstein's private jet between New York, where they lived blocks apart, and Florida, where they had owned 2 mansions 2 miles apart. They owned mansions 2 miles apart from each other. Their lives intersected over decades, with Epstein once claimed he introduced Trump to his 3rd wife, Melania. Yeah, we'll find out how that happened. Trump and Epstein were both horny rich guys with an eye for young models. Michael Gross, author of the 1995 book Model, The Ugly Business of Beautiful Women, told the USA Today, now their friendship plagues Trump's 2nd term in the White House. So, I mean, there's no question. He could say, I wasn't a fan of him. Oh, I knew him just like everybody else. No big deal. I mean, don't act like I was like kicking it with him or something. I mean, everybody knew who he was. They tried to like make it sound as if, you know, he was just a known person. Everybody knew him. No, you was hanging out, man. You was kicking it with him. Y'all was doing God knows what in these mansion parties with these models. Notice Trump had a modeling agency himself, but we'll get to that in a minute. Look at this. Here's a quote, USA Today. This is also in an article from the New York Magazine, 2002, same one they were talking about, where he said he's a terrific guy. What also did he say? He's a lot of fun to be with. What? I knew him like everybody else. I wasn't a fan of his. I can tell you that. I wasn't a fan of his. 2002, you said he's a lot of fun to be around. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. That's a quote. Do you see that? Who's he attracted to? He said, just like me, I like the young. I like them young. Okay, let's move on. Yet another Trump ultimatum falls flat in Moscow. I don't know how this got in the mix of it, but we ain't even too worried about what's going on in Moscow. We know he's going to always backtrack and flip-flop on the 50-day ultimatum that he gave Russia. We'll see that coming up in September. So we got to stay in the spirit. Look, don't take my word for it, man. Let this dude say it himself. Fair use.
For years, I've been that person who just picks up
Oh, now you want to
and go
buffer, huh?
solo travel
Like
across
that.
continents.
You start and I'm ready.
In the wake of questions and allegations about Donald Trump's behavior towards women, ET discovered this footage in our archive, which we provided to CBS News.
Soon. Thursday night. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe
Do you see the girl in the red jacket? That's who he's talking about. He said, you see the girl on the escalator? And he said, you going up the escalator? Yeah. That one going up there, I'll be dating her in 10 years. He's already visualizing, sexualizing this little girl.
Okay.
Let me back it up. Hold on.
Soon. Thursday night. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
I don't know if y'all can hear the girl's voice. Can y'all hear it? Let me know. I don't want y'all to miss it. He's saying, you're going up there. He's in the midst of a conversation and he sees a little girl and said, hey, you're going up the escalator? And she said, yeah. And he said, I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Now, full disclosure and disclaimer, he's never, quote unquote, been on any particular, he hasn't been found guilty or with his hand in the cookie jar of anything, right? So I can't say he's done it. Here's the proof. But with a smoke, there's fire, man. You know?
Thursday night. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
Now you just said everything's
Okay.
like me. I like it. All right, here's another one.
Moved on her.
Hide your kids, hide your wives, man. You seen this disclaimer earlier. You might hear some things, man. It might be a little offensive. All right. But you got to hear it.
And I failed. I'll admit it.
Whoa.
I did try and fuck her. She was married.
That's huge news, Sarah.
No, Nancy. No, this was marriages. And I moved.
Now he just got through readily admitting that there was a female that he was trying to get at who was married. So he's openly saying, I'm an adulterer. Didn't we just get to reading about those are one of the character traits of those who have evil that's within them? In Mark the 7th chapter, didn't we just get to seeing why Esau is getting no grace, and because he'll sell his both butt cheeks with the baby oil for a morsel of meat? Let me back it up. He has no shame.
Try and fuck her. She was married.
That's huge news, Sarah.
No, Nancy.
Yeah.
No, this was marriages. And I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where there's some nice furniture. I took her out furniture. I moved on her like a bitch. But I couldn't get there. And she was married. And all of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her look. I got to use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. I don't.
Look, and they get to laughing like this is a big joke, right? But he's saying, hey, if anything's beautiful, man, I just jump on them. Let me get some Tic Tacs just in case I see something I like.
Either way. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything.
They think this shit is funny. And he's really doing this stuff. He said, when you're famous, you get to do what, look, when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. So this is already giving him the mentality and the superiority that I can do whatever I want around these women. Now, mind you, we're getting ready to see some other stuff, man, that you got to see, well, who was the women he was surrounding himself with?
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. I can do anything.
Blam.
Hello, how are you? Hi.
You see how he comes? That's Esau. But if that ain't the devil, man, behind closed doors, he's talking about adultery, graping women, his elite mentality. And then he gets off and says, oh, hello, how are you doing? Hey, the Jekyll and Hyde in this man is unreal. Unreal, right? So this is the mentality, right? This is what he's doing. Hold on. I put this article here because I needed to show y'all something real quick. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I got to go there. Now, mind you, this is an article from The Guardian from like 10 years ago. No, 5 years ago. Look, teen models, powerful men in private dinners went, who? Okay. The chump hosted Look of the Year. They used to have these pageants called Look of the Year. Okay. In the early 90s, Donald Trump judged the world's biggest modeling competition since hit by allegations of abuse. I wonder why. Because he says, hey, when you're famous, you can do anything. And that's the guys he was hanging with. Right? This is how the people who were there remember it. Let's see here. Well, this is a long article. I want to kind of drop down and just get to the core of it. The party aboard the Spirit of New York was one of several events that Donald Trump, then 45, attended with a group of 58 aspiring young models that September. They had traveled from around the world to compete in elite Look of the Year competition. Now, mind you, remember it said that Epstein introduced his third wife, Melania, to him. She was in this particular competition, and I think she came in second, or no, she just missed getting into the competition because she came in second in Slovenia or something like that. If she came in first, she would have been in this competition. So she was a model trying to get in the good graces of the modeling world, but she didn't end up making it. But she was definitely trying to get in. Okay. It says an event that had been running since '83 and has already been credited as launching the careers of Cindy Crawford, Helena Christensen, and Stephanie Seymour. At stake was a life-changing prize of $150,000 contract with the world's leading modeling agency, Elite Model Management, run by John Casablancas. That dude was wicked as hell. He's the one running it. Now, I want to get down here. In '92, Trump hosted the competition again on a similarly golden evening in early September that year. Another group of contestants boarded the Spirit of New York, chartered for another elite cruise. One of the girls on the boat was Shauna Lee, then a 14-year-old from a small town outside of Toronto. 14. Now, let's find out. Is that all right? Because you got to imagine, how do you justify yourself being 45 years old and you're saying, I'm going to go judge the looks, the body, the poise of a 14-year-old girl? I want to go, give my insight on how she looks in a miniskirt in a swimsuit. 14. Sirach 42:9 says, the father waketh for the daughter when no man knoweth, and the care of her taketh away sleep. I don't have daughters. The Lord knew what I could handle. But for brothers and sisters out there that got that daughter, especially you men, the Lord said that this is what can take away your sleep, man, because you are concerned about the well-being and the sanctity, the chastity, the innocency of your daughter. You want nobody to defile her. You want her to be deceived, gamed. You want what's right for her, right? Take it away, sleep. When she is young, lest she pass away the flower of her age, and being married, lest she should be hated. So it says now, granted, women should be marrying in their youth because, as we know, the older you get, the more risk it becomes with pregnancies and things of that nature. But we ain't talking 14 though. We're not talking 12 and 13. We're not talking about 9 years old like they do in the Quran with Muhammad and what's her name? Khadijah. Is it Khadijah? We're not talking like that in those terms, right? We'll try to get a little more clarity regarding what's it mean, the flower of her age. When you look at the metaphor of a flower, right, we're talking about from the seed all the way up until it starts getting roots, till it starts getting leaves, then it produces fruit. The maturity age of the flower is what the scriptures are talking about. It says you don't want her to pass that time and miss out not being married, lest she becomes hated, because it's always a desire for a woman to get married. You know, even in the world terms, the fantasies about the big weddings and this, that, and the third is more held in the women's regard than it is the man. The man knows that that's an obligation that he needs to do. But at the end all be all, was it Aisha? The water Oscar Rabiala. Aisha. Where I get Khadijah? Khadijah was I can't think about it right now. I got to stay on course. But when the scriptures are saying, "Let she pass away the flower of her age of being married," meaning that she missed the opportunities of her full maturity when she's able to bear fruit, be in the mature age of being able to handle not only rearing up and raising a child, but running a household. Not that because she's able to have her, her menstrual cycle. That's not just the flower of her age. You have girls that have a menstrual cycle at 10 years old now. Does that mean that she's good to go? Okay, the water. There you go. Not just because she's able to have her menstrual cycle. Oh, she's eligible for marriage now. No. The flower of her age, meaning she's reached to the point of her maturity to where she is able to bear fruit and do what you need to do as far as responsibility is concerned, raising up and rearing up a child. You can't have babies having babies, man. That's what got us in the curses that we in right now. Sirach 26, let's read 19. Now notice here, it says, "My son, keep the flower of thine age sound and give not thy strength to strangers." So the flower of the age is meaning that's when you're able to receive and understand sound doctrine, have and making sound decisions in life. We're talking about maturity, okay? That's what is understanding when we're dealing with those things. For example, when you see that in First Timothy, the first chapter. And we'll just get right to the point, and we're going to reverse 8 down to 10. It says, "But we know that the law is good if a man use it lawfully, knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man, but for the lawless and disobedient, for the ungodly and for sinners, for unholy and profane, for murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers, and for manslayers." So yes, the law is made for those who need to repent. If you're already following the law, it ain't for you. You're already doing the right thing. The law is meant to get our people back into repentance. And if you're already doing that, then you're already in a righteous alignment. Continuing on, it says, "For whoremongers, for them that defile themselves with mankind, for men stealers, for liars, for perjured persons, and if there be any other thing that is contrary to sound doctrine." So when the scriptures tell us about being a young man, being of a sound age, meaning he has a full understanding regarding law, statutes, commandments. He's moving in righteousness. He's of a sound mind. He's following sound doctrine. These are all things that come with developmental maturity. Okay. Now, when we're talking about age limits, Numbers, the first chapter, tells us, Numbers 1 and 3, as far as the men are concerned, from 20 years old and upward, all that are able to go forth to war in Israel, thou and Aaron shall number them by their army. So at 20 years old, that's when the men were being taken in as far as their accountability for the defense of the nation and even being able to establish their own households. Today's terms now, just because you're 20 don't necessarily mean that you're ready and you're prepared to be a man and you can jump all out there and do what you need to do. Hell, at 18, Esau says you can go fight for your country, but you can't buy a damn drink at the bar. So there's two different things of where you're physically in the fit an able mind that you can go to war. However, when it comes down to developing and building up a household, that takes some time. Especially nowadays, man. They saying the maturity of men now is like 26 to 28, 26 to 30. Men don't start reaching the mature levels of being able to establish themselves and get their feet in the ground, especially nowadays, man, with the economy and everything else, man. It's a whole nother thing, right? But the scripture saying about at 20, a man should be able to, and is accounted for as far as the pedigree is concerned, and able to go to war. All right, you continue on reading in Numbers. It gives you the counting of the households and the counting of the tribes is all based around if you was 20 and up, you was counted in that number. Anything below that, you was part of the household, but you wasn't considered part of the number that was going to be part of the mass numberings. Deuteronomy 24:5 says, when a man hath taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war. So that lets you know that a man, if he's 20, he can go to war. That means he can get a wife at 20. But again, like Paul tells us, all things are lawful, but all things not expedient. So for those of us, those of y'all that got young men coming up, or you got sons that's already 25, 26, whatever, or they 19, about to turn 20, you're like, man, when you gonna get your wife, man? Should you 20, get your wife? No, that ain't how this works. That is not how this works. Age, because you got to remember, even when the law says when the parents took their son to be judged of the elders and said this man was a drunkard and rebellious, and the judgment was for him to be stoned and get put to death. How is he gonna be a drunkard like that? You think a little 9-year-old is sitting back drinking Hennessy all day? No, I mean he was of age, and he was still being rebellious. He wasn't, abiding by honoring his mother and his father. And he was being lazy. He was sitting around drinking all day and getting caught up. He was still in his house. He was still under his parents' rules and house. And they was like, man, we can't do nothing with him. Take him to the elders. And that's when he got disciplined. But see, at 20, it's letting you know that this is an eligible time, but doesn't necessarily mean that it is a time that you should be getting married. So when a man have taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war, neither shall he be charged with any business, but he shall be free at home 1 year, and shall cheer up his wife which he have taken. Yeah. So he's got to take that time, that do benevolence time with his wife. Plus, remind you, it says a year. So when you're looking at him being able to plant his seed so that he can have a generational, outcome within that year, 9-10 months, hopefully that's to build up and develop a seed line for him. And he can go back to war. So his wife is cheered up. Now she's got an offspring that she can raise up. He can go back to defending the nation and do what he needs to do. So that's just a lawful lesson for us to understand regarding age ranges and gaps and whatnot, right? According to the scriptures. Now, this cat is out here judging and looking at 14-year-old girls, right? Now, look at what they said they was doing. The girl, Shauna Lee, says she recalls how the contestants were encouraged to parade downstairs one by one and dance for Trump. Casablancas and others. Lee, an introverted teenager who loved to draw but hated school, was in New York for the first time. A woman at the agency was pushing me. She recalls, I said to her, I don't see why me going downstairs and dancing in front of those two has anything to do with me becoming a model. She said, no, you look great. Take off your blazer and go and do it. So she walked downstairs. I didn't dance, but I blew a kiss at them, spun around and walked away. Who was trying to get a kiss of a 14-year-old girl, man, blown at him? You a 45-year-old man dying for these little girls to dance in front of you, right? Here goes, there's the spirit, the boat that they was all on. Here goes the girls, some of the girls, right? Like I said, this is a long article. Another contestant who was 15 at the time also remembers being asked to walk for Trump. He wants to see him stroll in front of him. He wants to look at him. She says she knew it wasn't right. This wasn't being judged or part of the competition. It was for their entertainment. Look here. It says, while elite officials brochure stated that contestants were ages between 14 and 24, all of those the Guardian has spoken to competing in both years were ages 14 and 19. So even though they're saying this is the competition is for girls 14 to 24, they was kicking any of the girls out that was under 20. I mean, anybody that was over 20, I should say. 14 to 9. The oldest was 19. The youngest 14 is who they were sitting back judging. Can you imagine? You saying, man, I got a big competition coming up this weekend, man. I'm about to watch these little 14-year-old girls strut around with bikinis on, and I want them strolling and dancing in front of me. And how sick do you got to be, man? And you hosting these things, and then you get inspired and say, well, I'm going to get Trump's modeling agency. I'm going to get my own thing jumping on. Because they let you do what you want, right? Remember that? When you're famous, you can do what you want. You grab them by the, yeah. All that good stuff, right? Here goes Naomi Campbell with him. That's not Trump. That's the other dude, Casablancas, that owns the thing. Here you go with him. So look who he hangs out with. So all the pictures that he gets caught slipping with Epstein, he says, I wasn't a fan. That wasn't my guy. No, nigga. You was out here hanging with all of these pedos, man. All the PDF files. Look at him. Here you go. Now, notice here it says no such allegations have been leveled against Trump because this whole thing, it got disbanded and jacked up, and charges was dropped. I mean, charges was on these cats, Casablancas and others, because of sexual abuse allegations. Notice here, allegations of abuse, sexual abuse. Dudes was out here sleeping with these little girls, man. They got caught slipping. He managed to slither his way out and got off. I want to see if there was another piece out here. Okay, look down here. Patty Owen and Elle and Cosmopolitan cover star recall seeing Trump at elite parties as far back as 82. He would always be at the bar. That's where he would stay, and that's where all the new models would hang out. She says, whenever I saw him, I was always like, why does John have to invite him? Barbara Pilling, also an elite model, told us Trump asked her out for dinner in the summer of '89 at an industry soiree. She recalls Trump asking how old she was. I said 17. He said, that's just great. You're not too old, not too young. Hello? She told me she's 17. He's like, that's great. Look at these girls. You know they're young. Look at, there's another one other girl, Shayna Love, an Australian model who was just 16 when she came to New York for the first time in '91. Recalling a dinner she attended, she says now it was presented as our duty as models at the agency. It wasn't an invitation. It was like, you have to go and do this. She says the dinner she attended, at which 10 to 15 models were present, were served at a long table in a private area of an upmarket restaurant. I was at one end with John, and Trump was at the other end, surrounded by the other girls. Love to be surrounded by 14, 15, and 16-year-old girls, man. Look at these demons. Here you go. You what? Yo, you thought I was playing about the swimsuits? Here they go, little ass girl. The look of the year incorporated. This was all when he was sitting back, parading around 15, 16, 14-year-olds. Look at this guy, man. Unbelievable. Look at all these demons, man. Look, Copperfield. Famous little magician, man. They're all in here. See all on this article? I'm still scrolling. I'm gonna be honest, I have not finished this article. But it was enough for me to say, hey, this got to be shown. All right, but let's move on. We ain't done. We are not done. Bankruptcies. So we can talk about, what's going on with his
washing machine's broken, Moose.
But his business actions. Look at it.
Donald Trump is the Hugh Hefner of the 90s.
In the 1990s, Donald Trump was building a reputation for himself as a ladies' man.
For an older person, he's very attractive.
He may be the most eligible.
See, that's how he gets fed. You feed the beast, right? All the little ones, the little young women that want to be seen, want to be. For an older man, he's very attractive. That's why he said, "Hey, they let you do what you want."
Bachelor in America. Please welcome Donald Trump.
Gone were the days when he was known primarily as the real estate mogul of New York.
Remember the 80s? The yuppies, the buyouts, the junk bonds, and especially the Donald.
The man who was the darling of the 80s is seen in the 90s as a man in trouble, and he knows it.
The drama started when Donald began cheating on his wife, Ivana Trump, with aspiring actress Marla Maples. After an ugly public falling out, Donald and Ivana divorced in 1992, with some reports that Ivana got millions from the split.
Donald Trump's former or current girlfriend, depending on what day it is sharing all her secrets for staying in shape.
Donald eventually married Marla 2 months after she gave birth to a baby girl. But by the end of the decade, Trump was single again, and he seemed to enjoy the dating scene.
The reputation of Donald Trump, the man who dates a different woman every year.
I don't do that. I mean, I've been with a number of women, but it's been over a fairly long period of time. I've had great relationships with women.
If you could have your choice, who would be the one person you'd date?
Wow.
Who are the three most beautiful women in the world?
Well, how about Lady Di? That would be an interesting one. She's going to be available.
What kind of women do you
choice.
like?
I think my choice might be you. Look at the legs on her. Boy.
Can
You know, nowadays, he got canceled. You know what I'm saying? But they would let him say whatever he wants to say. But if you continue on in this, I'm not going to play the whole thing, man. They talk about how he bankrupted his businesses. The dude was like hundreds of millions of dollars in debt. He was able to finesse his way out of that, get some more properties, man. I mean, the dude was looked at as a savvy, slick, snake-like businessman who could bankrupt and destroy everything. So if you're just looking at the pattern, look where America's at financially, and you see what's going on. Hey, this dude's track record says he'll break this place before he can actually rebuild it. You know what I'm saying? So his track record, so I think he's filed bankruptcy like 6 times. They were talking about he had to sell off his property. He had to sell one property, man, to save his whole financial empire. And he had to sell this one estate or landmass, got him some billions, got him back on his feet. But the dude is he's a piece of work, man. He's a piece of work. For time's sake, I'm not gonna play the rest of this, but you can kind of get where I'm coming from, right? We played that one. How about this one?
Did you learn about the Trump Model Management Agency and whether or not they broke into immigration?
Now, mind you, this is him with his modeling agency. He was importing them from Europe and all over the place. They didn't have valid visas. He's running around here talking about immigration this and migrants that and aliens this. Meanwhile, he was flying them in. Nowadays, they can say that that's trafficking. Flying them in, telling them lie to customs about their visa status. But meanwhile, wants to condemn our 10 tribe brothers, man, and got in our Southern Kingdom brothers from Haiti and West Africa. They're over here getting hunted down like by rabid dogs on the street with masks and hats and gloves and shades on and unmarked cars, locking them up. But meanwhile, if it's a little hottie, they fly them in.
This is one of Donald Trump's most prized possessions as a company. He owns 85% of this thing. He still earns millions of dollars from Trump Model Management, according to election filings. So this is a big deal for him. What we learned was 4 models in various years from 2004 to 2011 encouraged to skirt immigration laws. 2 told me that they were asked to write down false addresses on immigration forms as well. Things like send your portfolio ahead of time by mail so that the customs officials don't find it. And as we know, working as a tourist in the United States, you simply can't do it. You have to have work authorization.
Right. So Rachel, that brings us to you. You worked with the Trump Model Management for 3 years. What was your experience in terms of how you...
Trump Model Management, mind you, and remember, he used to run Miss America pageants and all of that. So he's used to trafficking in these females, man. And there goes one right here.
got into the country and whether or not you had the right visa?
I definitely didn't have a visa. I got in April 2004, and I only got the visa in September 2004. And between April and August 2004, I spent most of my time in New York and worked and did a lot of jobs to which they deducted taxes. And but I didn't have a visa until September. I didn't actually start the visa process until August.
And so you said that it's sort of normal.
So she was an illegal immigrant who he was paying under his model management agency. He was getting a check off of her, contracting her out to do jobs, right? But this is why the scripture say a hypocrite with his mouth destroys his neighbors, man. The dude is wicked as hell.
In the industry, and that models know not to ask.
Blonde hair, blue eye, got the complexion for the connection, man. It's all good. You can come on over here. That's why you don't see them harassing nobody from Ukraine that they slipped up in here. You don't see them chasing down nobody from China. You don't see them chasing down nobody from India. They ain't getting chased down, harassed in these streets. No. The Hispanics, you got to go get them, man. Go get them Haitians, man. Lock their butts up, man. Throw them in the cages. Put them in alligator Alcatraz.
Too many questions, but was there something different about the Trump model management agency where they skirted the rules even more so than other places that you worked?
Yes, I mean, I worked with a different agency when I left Trump, and they got me my visa straight away. Some girls get it quite quickly, but it's quite a spread out way of working for agencies to not have girls coming in with a work visa. But for example, that summer in New York, we were about 7 foreign models in that apartment, at least during that summer, and I believe none of us had a work visa.
So there you have it. He's housing them in. I mean, it's like, man, he's pimping. 7 of them living in a damn spot together, pimping them out so they get these little modeling gigs, paying them a little change, get them in here illegally. And then she says, well, I left Trump's agency, went to another one, man. They got my paperwork together right away.
Did you learn?
That dude's a criminal, man. But look at this. Uncle Luke of 2 Live Crew fame. Of what's the name of that show he used to have back in the day in the 90s? Or maybe early 2000s? Luke's Peep Show. But we're talking about a dude who is the poster child for That Ain't Right. Hold on. You hear the songs? Doodoo Brown, Pop That. You know what I'm talking about. Even Luke said, man, I went to a Trump party, man. I had to leave. It was too much for me. If that Jay can say, this ain't, hold on, I'm out of here. You know, it was some wild stuff going on there. Look, Uncle Luke details underage girls and unfiltered sex at Trump parties in resurfaced interview. Yeah, he was on an interview with another brother on satellite radio. It was a phone interview. I don't have the video on me, but this other YouTube channel guy had it. I forgot the name of his channel. It was an Edomite. But nonetheless, 2 Live Crew's Uncle Luke says he walked out of Trump's 1990s bash after spotting underage girls, drugs, and wild orgies. Now you see why I say he's caught red-handed? I mean, too many multiple witnesses is against this dude, man. A newly surfaced interview uncovered by Ben Maseles, co-founder of Midas Touch Network. I think that's the YouTube channel. 2 Live Crew icon Uncle Luke opens up about a wild night at a Donald Trump party in Palm Beach in the 90s. Speaking with Mark Thompson on SiriusXM, Luke recounts being alarmed by what he saw. Drug use, explicit sex, and girls he believed to be underage. He compared the atmosphere to the film Eyes Wide Shut, saying it felt more like an underground scene than a typical celebrity gathering. So, you know, they can come for Diddy and the freak offs, man. But man, these guys were doing freak offs beforehand. This is why you see Trump saying he might consider pardoning his buddy. I showed y'all the picture of them hanging out. I mean, God knows what's going on amongst these guys, man. If Luke says it's too much, I mean, it had to be some wild debauchery going on in there. And Luke says, man, hey, I don't smoke, I don't drink. So automatically the drugs was already like, oh, they in here getting high. They doing the most up in here. I'm not gonna. Danny look. He said, "Oh, damn, she look kind of young. What they doing to her?" Oh, and he says, "I had to get her out of there because he said he knew that those were the situations where people get blackmailed and compromised, and he didn't want to be involved in that." In that interview, Luke was like, "Man, this is gonna get somebody caught up. I'm not gonna be the one. I'm out of here." And that's what got him up. So it was some wild stuff going on there. If he got freaked out, and he's the one that Mr. Freak himself. Oh, well, look at here. Remember last week they was trying to get Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's partner in crime, to testify, and now they're offering her limited immunity for her testimony. Now, the whole problem with this is, what story is she going to tell? Is she going to tell the truth, or is she going to lie? Because she could easily be like, "Oh yeah, he wasn't there. There was nothing going on. It was just us two. We're the heads of the snake. There was no list." She could do that because the right side could be telling her, "Hey, shut your mouth about this, and we can work something out for you." Or the left side, who's prosecuting, saying, "Tell us everything, and we'll make a deal with you. We'll slim down them 20 years on you." So it's who's giving her the best deal is what she's gonna say. That's what's so tricky about the law, man. She can sit out there, but and mind you, they said that she won't be held under perjury because she's already been.
The Good Guys doorbuster deals are on now. Get $300 off this Samsung QLED TV.
So,
This Shark Becky.
lying, she can do that, but we don't know.
Welcome back, everyone, here to Live Now from Fox. So we do have some breaking news that we are following for you. We've been giving you updates on how Ghislaine Maxwell wrapping up part 2 of her talks with the DOJ. Now we're learning that she was offered limited immunity for those talks. Those are the latest reports coming right now. Take a look here at this update saying, "I'm told Ghislaine Maxwell was granted a limited form of immunity in exchange for speaking with the DOJ, confirming the Catherine Folder's report. The immunity is often offered to people whom prosecutors want to cooperate, and Maxwell has already been tried and found guilty, plus doesn't cover perjury." So also being reported from the New York Post, we are learning that Maxwell named some 100 different people linked to the late pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, and an attorney for the disgraced socialite claimed today, following 2 days of interrogation led by Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche.
So she's getting offered limited immunity. Who knows what the terms are of those immunity, but she got 100 names, 100-round clips she's ready to let loose. And it's already been acknowledged that Trump is in those files. Who knows what she's going to say and what that immunity costs? What's she willing to give up in order to maybe slim down that sentence? Maybe give her a little better conditions of where she's at? I don't know. They haven't said what the immunity is involved in. But which way is she going to spill the beans? We're going to find out. But it ain't looking good for your man, though. Here we go. Republican subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell, even though they admit they don't trust her. They don't know if she's gonna flip, but they had to go ahead on it and bring her on in. At first, they were saying they ain't gonna do it, but now they buckling. They're buckling. All right. So now we're back in the safe zone a little. We're in a little bit of a safe zone, man. I had to get that off to throw your man under the microscope and scrutinize what's really going on with it, man. That's what I'm saying. We look at that pic, man. What's really good? What's happening? But let's look at a few more articles, man, before I get up out of here. We've been talking about it for a long time, man, and we know AI, robotics, everything else is easing on into the workforce. Gonna make it hard for a lot of us. We were just talking about the self-driving cars rolling all around the city, man. Brothers is tripping out when you see these damn cars driving by themselves, or somebody sitting in the back seat not tripping. I mean, Uber is about to be compromised. Lyft gonna be compromised. DoorDash, all these other damn food services. Look, the robots are taking over your food delivery technology, removing humans in an effort to make restaurant delivery faster and better, especially when we're talking about the cost of living, the cost of doing business, the cost of food prices, the cost of insurance, everything else. A lot of these companies, they already taking shorts, man, and lowering the quality of the food, let alone in the quantity that you used to get. They ain't serving it up like they used to. So everybody's cutting costs, and why not make a fat investment on the robot, man? If you can cut the prices of not needing to pay somebody an hourly wage, you ain't got to worry about giving them insurance and anything else, and you ain't got to worry about them calling off work. Why not? Oh, we've been talking about it for a long time, man. AI and the robotics, man. Not only are they talking about taking over the warehouse jobs and stocking shelves and everything else and inventory, they're coming for the food deliveries as well. Global hack was done on Microsoft. Products hit the U.S. state agencies, researchers say, which is very ironic because if y'all remember, 4 years ago, I talked about them doing a cyber polygon where they were talking about doing testing out the securities of for cyber attacks and whatnot. And then remember last year they had did a cyber attack in the same month in July. How do I remember that? Because we was out of town in Detroit, and they did a Microsoft hack, and all the airports was down, and we was tripping like, damn, we're gonna be up out of here. But it hit on the day we wasn't leaving yet, so it was just we was wondering like, how long is this gonna last? We out of here in the next day or two. What's gonna happen? That's why I remember that in particular. And y'all gonna remember just because of what it did to the airports. Remember last year, it was in July. Shut down all the airports, everything else. Global hack happens again. So this cyber polygon thing is still going on, man. They testing and testing the fragility of the system. So when they're ready to crash something, we're ready to hack something, it's already in place. All right. Let's look at this. Pepco restores service in DuPont Circle neighborhood for the third time. They're messing with the grid. Pepco is a power company over there in Detroit. Not Detroit, excuse me. In Washington, D.C., DuPont Circle neighborhood for the third time. They've been having power outages off and on in this particular neighborhood. Power outages, blackouts, power back on, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, we're going to work harder on the security of the grid," and they're out here experimenting on everything, y'all. You see all these damn food recalls going on, systems getting hacked, airplanes, near misses and crashes every damn minute. They're looking to set something up that's going to really rock the foundations of society to where they got to bring in some new change. That's my estimation because they messing around with too much stuff. See this? Pilot makes an aggressive maneuver to avoid a collision with a B-52 bomber. Alaska Airlines grounds all flights after IT outage disrupts systems. They just had another near miss at the Burbank Airport out here in California yesterday. I mean, we've seen how many different airplane issues been having throughout the country. They're tapping into everything, man. What's going to be the black swan that actually gets everybody's attention and takes people out for wondering what's going to happen with the Diddy trial, or who what's her name? Meg Thee Stallion is dating a basketball player now. I mean, people are going to say, hold on, this whole thing got my attention now, man. When your money system gets shut down and hacked and you can't access your funds no more, when the food supply gets jacked up, water supply, who knows what they're going to do, man. They're going to wait till it's a massive airplane crashing going on in the States. That's what's going to wake everybody up saying, hold on, Look what Amazon wants, an AI bracelet that records everything you say. Tech giant acquisition of B is its latest move in the burgeoning AI gadget business. So here we go. More wearable tech. Remember, JFK Jr. said he wants everybody in wearable tech within the next, what did he say? By 2030, he wants everybody with wearable technology. So they not only want to track, trace, they want to listen in to everything you say. This was another advancement in how they're creating a grid system, a circularized system, or the B system that's going to say, okay, you know what? We're listening, we're watching, we're documenting, we're tracking every damn thing. And Amazon, another armored extension of this damn Hydra system of the beast, is reaching out saying, hey, don't you want to know, you want to retrack your conversations, you want the video within this article, man, a woman was utilizing this thing and she was saying she wanted to know how many times she said a profanity or something like that. She ran back the transcript of her thing, counted out how many times she said a particular word. I mean, you talk about it being locked in, but they're acting as if they're not already listening in on everything. You know what I'm saying? They're acting like they already aren't accessing microphones to your phones and your camera. You got to remember, even if I'm put a 7 in the chat, man. If y'all have been involved in a conversation via on phone or just in general in the room, and let's say you're talking about a particular product. I'll give you an example. Me and Alada were talking on the phone one time, and we was talking about storable food. Before you know it, I'm seeing ads on I think my YouTube or just on my news scrolling, where now pop-up ads are showing storable foods. I'm like, son of a bitch, they're just listening in on our conversation and saying, oh, that's what you're looking for? That's what you're talking about? Here, let me help you with a couple of ads about this. They're acting like they ain't listening, but they're just saying, hey, voluntarily buy this new tech and, we can help you with your conversation. Then they're going to always put you in a situation where it's like you're in some blackmail situation. You're in something now where I better record this because I don't know what's going to come of this. Oh, I got my little wearable tech. Let me hit the button. Now people are going to think that it can be weaponized and used to help them. So that gives them more incentive to buy the thing. See how they play them games? And this is to help you. This is to help, you remember what was said last week. And then people say, yeah, I do need that. You buy it, you bought in, you're convinced, and now you're swearing by it. So Amazon got this new bracelet, man. You put it on, you click the button, it's listening in on every damn thing. From Canada to Finland, a U.S. neo-Nazi fight club is rapidly spreading across the globe. We talked about this before, man. Esau is gearing up, man. They're out here training. They got their own little fight clubs jumping off. They hitting the MMA scenes. They doing backyard brawls, bare knuckle fights, and everywhere from here to Russia. And the Negroes over here, man, spraying each other up at after parties at clubs and getting high, getting drunk, popping pills, doing God knows what, thinking being fake pimps out here. Sisters is out here willing to sell whatever they can to get across, to survive. Looking for quote unquote high value men with 6 figures and prostituting themselves on OnlyFans and Instagram and anywhere else they can get a piece of change from. And our enemies is out here, man, actively getting right because they know what's coming down the pipeline. Canada to Finland, man, they out here training with these fight clubs. Wolves in sheep's clothing, how a neo-Nazi cell infiltrated a martial arts school in Tennessee. Oh, yeah, it's close to home. And notice what it's a martial arts school in Tennessee because they know damn well Esau, it don't stand a damn chance. As a vast majority, man, they come into a fight against the Israelite handicap. It's already understood. Like if a Jay got any hands or any particular instincts, the spirit within him, that Edomite's at a disadvantage. I'm not saying every Edomite, because there's some Edomites I can scrap. I mean, hey, look at the Greeks, man. They were sodomites in the whole 9, but they were still fierce and they was taking out nations. Now we know it's prophetic, but at the same time, you gotta have some cojones to carry it out. But by and large, when you watching a boxing match, you watching a damn MMA fight, you typically gonna put your money on the Israelite first. whether he's from Brazil, whether he's from South America, whether he's from Compton. If there's a black Native American or Hispanic going up against a white man, you're going to say, man, I'm going with the brother. That's off the rip. But they out here thinking they're going to get prepared for the incoming warfare that's about to hit these streets, man. And just instinctively, Jake's going to act a fool and just off of just bare sheer spirit and strength, going to give them a run for their money. But it's going to be a lot of Jake's going to get smoked in these days. But look at this, neo-Nazi fight club that secretly infiltrated the Tennessee martial arts school where young children train has been banned from the facility after an inquiry by The Guardian. Last month, the South Central Tennessee Active Club published video footage on the messaging app Telegram showing its members participating in combat training in Shelbyville BJJ Academy, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu school in Shelbyville, Tennessee, that offers classes to students as young as 3 years old. 3 years old, training them young, man. But this is what they're up to. Yeah, that's a fact, Thom. They say your arms are too short to box with God. And the Most High said, and ye are gods in Psalms 82:6. That's the real, man. But I mean, by and large, they out here gearing up. They at the ranges. They outside in the backwoods, training, shooting, boxing, grappling, doing what they can because they know their survival is at stake. They already know based upon their birthright. I mean, their birth rates, they're dropping faster than they're reproducing. So they're fighting for the mere survival of their species. You dig what I'm saying? So this is why you see them predatory in nature, going after these little young bodies, man, looking to try to procreate and have some more shells to implant their foul seed in hopes of continuing on a progenitor seed line, man. But I know it's a long one today, but guess what? I ain't done. The Lord said you got another one to do later on. 4:15, man. Tap in with us. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. I'm gonna do my part 2 on Genesis chapter 3. So I will be back in a couple of hours. And Lord willing, I'll see y'all there. Appreciate everybody tuning in. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, while you help shine. Always remember, fear the Most High, keep the commandments. Don't shoot the messenger, especially after this one, man. They're gonna be mad about this one, but it is what it is. All praise. Shalom.